Thank you.
Board of Education. Board of Education members, my name is Max. I'm a student in Douglas County and I'm 12 years old. The systemic racism happening in our society is terrible, and kids need to learn the real history of what Black, Indigenous, people of color have experienced, as well as the experiences of the LGBTQ plus community. Kids need to learn that equality is not always good, and it is very harmful sometimes. Everyone is different in many ways, and we want to support that, not be against it. Equity is not treating people the same, but providing people what they need to thrive. Kids cannot be treated the same because we are not the same. If I had the same treatment as the kids in class have, I would not be doing as good in class because my needs wouldn't be met. Our society needs to be an equitable society so everybody has their needs met. The equity policy needs to stay as it is because it makes kids feel safe in their society and helps stop bullying. In this society, we shouldn't be afraid of using words like racism, privilege, diversity, inclusion, and equity. Members of the board, please do what is best for us as our students, not what makes the adults most comfortable. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. J. Ryder J will be next, followed by Ashlyn Hancock and Trey Thomason. Ryder J.
Thank you. My name is Ryder. He, him, and I'm 14 years old. I want the Douglas County equity policy to stay in place as it is. We need this for kids in not just my school, but other schools who are underrepresented. If this policy is not in the schools, kids will not be seen, heard, and recognized as they should be. This is for me, my classmates, and even my teachers. Every kid needs the chance to be heard and seen, and the equity policy will give that to every kid in Douglas County. Equity is not equality. There's a big difference. Equality is giving everyone the same thing, whether or not it benefits each person. Equity is giving the person something that they need, even though it may be different than what I need. For example, if I was trying to look over a fence but I couldn't see over it, I would need something to stand on. If my little brother, who is shorter than me, also has the same problem, then he needs something to stand on. If we're given the same size box, that is equality. It might benefit me, but it won't help my brother, because he still won't be able to see, even though he's on the same box as me. Equity would be giving me a box that is high enough to where I can see over, and a taller box so that my brother can also see over. With the equity policy implemented into our schools here in Douglas County, kids from underrepresented communities will feel recognized and heard. The equity policy, quote, commits to establish an inclusive culture to ensure all students, staff, and community members feel safe and valued by increasing and embedding authentic and relevant learning opportunities and experiences involving inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility, end quote. Why wouldn't you want this for kids? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. J. Next will be Ashlyn Hancock, Trey Thomason, followed by Drew Middleton. Ashlyn Hancock.
Hi everyone, I'm Ashlyn Hancock. I'm a sophomore in high school and I've been in the DCSD school system since I've been in pre-K. Today I'm here speaking on behalf of the Chaparral Equality Contribution, and this is a club I founded at Chaparral High School, and we focus on equity and equality for all. We currently have a total count of 31 members. Every day, someone in our district is put down for uncontrollable situations. Girls in schools are often told they are not smart, strong, or good enough for what boys can do and learn. SPED kids are put down for not fitting in and aren't considered normal. Racial slurs are thrown around in hallways like they are nothing, and the way this affects people goes to great lengths. The equity policy is our hope for accountability and currently is being considered of being removed. Equity is not an evil word, so let's not treat it like it is. Equity is humanism. More than 8 in 10 students who stand with the LGBTQ experience harassment and assault in their schools every year. 54% of sexual violence reports in the United States are from high schoolers aged 13 to 18. Board, what actions are you taking to protect the well-being of my peers and friends? It appears you are working to please parents' biased needs as opposed to what is best for us students. So little come to these meetings or even speak up due to parent aggression. It creates a scary and uncomfortable environment. Parents attacking children and threatening them for their beliefs does not put them in a comfortable place to speak up. So why should our parents and other adults have to speak for what's best for us when they can hardly stand to listen? Why are these adults having a stand against these policies in the first place? If children are your best concern, then why don't you talk to them personally and ensure they are heard? No child should have to be assaulted simply because a parent decided that education is harmful. Today, we ask to stand together. We ask for solutions to lower these numbers and help us feel safe and comfortable walking in the hallways of our school. We ask for the ability to look at an individual and help them meet their needs. Recognizing someone needs help is what we need to do as a district. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hancock. We now have Trey Thomason, Drew Middleton, followed by Gabrielle Hooper. Mr. Thomason.
How are y'all doing tonight? So my name is Trey Thomason. I am also a part of the Chaparral Equality Contribution Club at Chaparral. I'm a sophomore, and I know this looks bad. I ain't got no notes with me. I'm not going to take any much of your time. I just want to give you what I've been thinking. As a student of color at Chaparral High School, the things that I've, heard and seen haven't really been school-like, as you can say. I mean, I go to school, obviously, to learn, to connect with people, and to help them no matter what. But if we're a school and we're supposed to, be there for each other, why is it every single day kids are eating lunch in the bathroom because they don't want to be tormented about their race, who they are, or what they believe in? Kids are literally, leaving schools just so they don't have to see that. It's a lot of bad things going on, racism-wise, belief-wise, and just what people have to say. And everyone has their own opinion. And considering that they don't want to share their opinion because they're afraid about what some other kid's going to say about them really hurts. And the main thing I wanted to talk about was how racism is affecting not just Chaparral High School, but Douglas County as a whole. I've talked to many kids around the district, and I've talked to all of them saying, they've told me stories about how they haven't been wanting to come to school because of it, of how they've been afraid to help other people because they, are afraid what other people think of them. And I just think that we need to educate more students, having these type of clubs, learning, what racial slurs mean, because we're kind of out of hand with it. And I just encourage everyone here to, bring someone closer, help them, and reassure them that they are who they are and they can't change that, and that they should love themselves no matter what anybody says about them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thomason. We now have Drew Middleton, Gabrielle Hooper, followed by Drew Whitney. Drew Middleton.
Good evening, board members. The resolution concerning DCSD's culture of individual excellence and inclusion is, for those who don't know, a resolution that, if resolved, would direct the superintendent to revise policy ADB, most commonly known as the Educational Equity Policy. Where my issue lies is within the justification for this resolution. One statement says that the school district recognizes that any policy that wrongfully prioritizes group identity over individual beliefs, actions, or experiences will hinder a student's learning. Where in policy ADB does it do this? I am frankly sick and tired of this board making baseless claims in order to push their political agenda on kids who are just trying to learn an unbiased view of history, culture, religion, etc. The board's agenda really shines through in their seventh whereas statement, in which they say the U.S. was founded on values of equality and opportunity. Are you serious? Did enslaved Africans have equal opportunity? Did Black Americans have equal opportunity during the Jim Crow era? I could go on and on about the ways this country has consistently held down those who are not Christian or white. Later down the page, it is stated that the U.S. continues to shine as a beacon of unprecedented individual freedom, equality of opportunity, and prosperity. While I agree we do better than many other countries, the U.S. still has laws that disproportionately affect those who are poor, Black, gay, trans, Hispanic, etc. The mere existence of these claims, of these ignorant claims, underlines the need for the educational equity policy. The last statement I will address is the second to last one, which states that legitimate questions have arisen regarding ADB's assumptions and implementations. What questions are deemed legitimate or illegitimate? Is it the ones agreeing with the agenda you want to push? What assumptions are in policy ADB? This board has continually made vague remarks when it comes to the educational equity policy, and that is not what this community needs right now. As a student, I'm asking you to not pass this resolution. Should it be resolved, this resolution will hurt those in our community who are most vulnerable, and this board will be at fault. I've heard some other comments that have really inspired me tonight, and I think that a lot of people are not afraid to speak their minds on this, and the community is truly showing that this need for educational equity is prevalent. So please, as a board, I'm asking you to reconsider passing this resolution and to keep the educational equity policy to help students like myself stay safe within our schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Middleton. We will now have Gabrielle Hooper, Drew Whitney, and James Pucella. Ms. Hooper.
Hi, my name is Gabby. I'm a junior in the district, and first, I'd just like to talk about a couple of the whereas statements given as justifications for passing this resolution. So one of them states that the district mission recognizes policies that prioritize group identity over individual students will hurt all parties, but nowhere in the board's actual mission statement does it say that. The mission as written is to provide an educational foundation that allows each student to reach their individual potential. This resolution sets a precedent for the district incorrectly stating key practices, being used as a reason to imply that the equity policy is unnecessary or incorrect in its language as it stands right now. This misstatement of the mission places the base of this resolution on an incorrect foundation on top of being simply unclear and poorly worded. Additionally, this resolution implies that the equity policy could impact curriculum in the district. Having both read the policy and the bylaws several times, and as a student chairperson of the Equity Advisory Council, I know this to be false. Policy ADB clearly states that the council's only role is to advise the board. That is all the power the Equity Advisory Council has, and this resolution misinterprets and misstates that. Any advice given is up to the board on whether or not they will accept it, meaning any curriculum change resulting from the equity policy will be a board decision, not an Equity Advisory Council decision. Another whereas statement says that legitimate questions have arisen from policy ADB, but this resolution doesn't offer any of the questions it speaks of. Without direction on what potential issues this may cause, how is the superintendent supposed to adequately bring back information on how these issues can be solved? I strongly encourage each of you to consider, rather than affirming this resolution tonight, taking a second to actually work with the Equity Advisory Council members and with all other community members. Going to schools, speaking to teachers and students, and getting insight from those most impacted by the board's policies has been something the school board has consistently fallen short on, definitely in my experiences as a student and in those of many others. The majority of board members have only been on this board for just under 2 months, so I advocate taking a second to actually speak with all involved parties in any policy before taking actions as strong as this. Students, teachers, and other people that are in schools every single day are who are going to be affected by this. I think parents need to be heard and guardians need to be heard, but I think students and teachers need to be a top priority in this and every single decision you make going forward. Thank you.